Hello everyone. So today we are going to discuss with the last properties, that is trends in chemical properties in the periodic table. We have already discussed physical trends in physical properties. Now the trends in chemical properties. Although there are so many trends in chemical properties, but our main focus will be on valence state and oxidation state shown by the elements and anomalous properties of second period elements. So in this chapter, these two chemical properties we are going to discuss, right? Apart from this, inert pair effect, then lengthenoid contraction, etc. There are so many other properties that we will take up in next chapters. Okay, so starting with the first one, that is periodicity of valence or oxidation state. This is very important, very important. Okay, the valence is the most characteristic property of the elements, right, and can be understood in terms of their electronic configuration. So if you remember, if you know the electronic configuration, then with that electronic configuration we can relate almost all the properties, particularly your chemical properties. Now the valence of representative elements. Now what are representative elements? Representative elements are S and P. S and P block elements, they are called as representative elements, right? We have discussed it already, right? So usually their valence is equal to, or we can say valence shell electrons, they are equal to the number of electrons in the outermost orbitals. Particularly, we can relate their valence or valency with a number of electrons that are present in the outermost shell, or 8 minus the number of outermost electrons. For this, you have to analyze the table that is given, and in this case, second period elements are shown. So lithium, beryllium, right? Lithium is belongs from first group, beryllium belongs from second group, then boron is from 13th group, then carbon 14th, 15th, 16th, 17th, and then 18th group, noble gas, right? So it's given. Now group number is given already, right? The number of valence electrons. Now how many valence electrons will be there in group 1? So it's obvious that there will be 1 valence electron. How many will be there in group 2? 2. And now about group 13. So for group 13, it will be 3. There will be 3 valence electrons. Group 14, 4. 5 for 15, 6 for 16, 7 for 17, and 8 electrons will be for 18th group. Okay. Now what will be their valence? Valence can also be defined as combined capacity of an element, right? That how many electrons it will lose or gain for chemical combination or formation of a compound, right? So valence of first group 1, second group 2, 3, and then 14th group 4. So valence increases up to middle. Valency goes on increasing up to middle. Now 14th group onwards, now there are 2 valencies, right? And it depends on ease with which the species can release electron or it can gain electron. So they tends to show 2 types of valencies depending on whether the combining element or the atom that is more electronegative or it's less electronegative, okay, than the species itself. For example, for nitrogen. So nitrogen can show +5 oxidation state, or its valence can be related as or regarded as 5, or it may show 3. 3 will be, it will be 8 minus 5, right? So that will be 3, okay. In the same manner for 16th group, it will be 6 as the valence electrons are there, and 2 will be again 8 minus 6, that will give us the 2, okay. Then for 17th group, it will be 7 as usual, and 8 minus 7 will give 1. So it also show its valence may be 1. And for group 18, 8 or 8 minus 8, that is 0. Okay. So this is valency. Nowadays, the term oxidation state is frequently used for valence. Now the alternate term that we use, that is oxidation state, and it is most commonly used, right? Now what is this oxidation state? We will try to relate oxidation state with valence. So we have to take into consideration two oxygen containing compounds, means oxygen will be there. For example, OF2, this is called as oxygen difluoride, and Na2O, that is sodium oxide. Okay, for these two compounds, which contains, in total there are three elements which are involved, or three atoms of elements, that is fluorine, oxygen and sodium. And if we relate their electronegativity that we have discussed in previous video, electronegativity is the tendency of an atom, of an element, to attract the shared pair of electron towards itself in a covalent molecule. Okay, so now fluorine is most electronegative, then oxygen, and then sodium. This is the trend as per these two compounds which are given. Now what will be oxidation state? So we have to relate oxygen fluoride, difluoride, OF2, right? This is oxygen difluoride, and in this case fluorine and oxygen are there. Fluorine has how many electrons in its valence shell? It will have 6 electrons in its valence shell. This can be shown by Lewis dot structure like this. In fluorine has 7 electrons, right? So two fluorine atoms, they are shown like this. Fluorine has 7 electrons. Now in order to complete their octet, what will happen? This fluorine requires 1 electron, so fluorine will share, or it will complete its octet by sharing 1 electron from this side, and another fluorine will share the electron from this side, right? And oxygen, it will complete its octet by sharing 1 electron each from 2 fluorine atoms. So thereby there were 6 valence shell electrons. Now it has shared 2 electrons, so its octet is completed in case of oxygen, and for fluorine it has shared 1 electron, so octet is completed. Okay, now we can represent it like this, that the shared pair of electron is here, and then the shared pair of electron is here. Now what will happen? Will this shared pair remains here only, or we can say that there is electronegativity difference between oxygen and fluorine? As a result, this shared pair will shift more towards fluorine, and in the same manner this shared pair will shift more towards fluorine. Now if this happens, then how the change? What will happen to the charge? So there were 7 electrons, right? And if this 1 electron which belongs to oxygen, if it slightly gets shifted towards fluorine, so will the electron density increase on fluorine? Definitely it will increase, and due to that increased electron density, on fluorine, what will happen? It will acquire delta negative charge. In the same manner, this will have delta negative. Okay, and now if we relate, so what charge should appear on oxygen? Because 2 electrons have shifted away from oxygen, so it will have delta 2 positive charge. Delta positive charge. This is delta. Delta means very minute change. Are you getting this? Okay, so can we relate that fluorine will have oxidation? This will be the charge that has appeared now. So this charge will be called as oxidation number. So fluorine in this OF2. So in OF2, fluorine will have -1. Each fluorine atom will have -1. Oxidation number, or its oxidation state, will be -1, and oxygen will have +2. I hope you are getting this, right? Now what is this oxidation state? So oxidation state of an element in a particular compound can be defined as the charge acquired by its atom on the basis of electronegative consideration from other atom in the molecule. Okay. Now we take another example of sodium oxide. So for sodium oxide, Na2O. Sodium oxide is Na2O, and in this case sodium and oxygen are there. Again, the species which is represented to the right side, that is considered to be more electronegative, so that means oxygen will be more electronegative. In the previous case it was fluorine, so fluorine was more electronegative. In this sodium oxide, sodium will have +1, whereas oxygen will have -2. So the oxidation state of oxygen will be -2 and that of sodium will be +1, right? For OF2 we have already done this. So oxidation state can be calculated by removal of the species which are attached to a central atom, or the species of which we have to calculate the oxidation number. Now in order to understand more about this oxidation state, let us take an example or question. Using the periodic table, predict the formulas of compounds which might be formed by the following pairs of elements. This is the question. Using the periodic table, predict the formulas of the compound. Now, silicon and bromine, aluminium and sulfur. So first part, that is silicon, Si, and bromine, that is Br is there. Now, what type of compounds, or what will be the formula of the combination of these two elements? So for that we have to relate, first of all, silicon. Silicon has atomic number, how much? 14. Whereas bromine has atomic number, yes, 35. Silicon belongs to which group? Yes, so group 14. And bromine, it belongs from group 17, right? So that means group 17 means bromine will have 7 valence shell electrons around itself, 7 electrons. And silicon will have 4 electrons. Now silicon 284, how many electrons will it require, or it can share to complete this outermost shell? So it will require 4 electrons. In the same manner, for bromine, how many electrons it will require to complete its octet? It has 7 in outermost shell, and then it will need 1 electron. So if it share 1 electron from this silicon, so will its octet be completed? Right? So I can represent it more easily like this: silicon, 1 electron, second, third, and fourth electron. And then bromine can be represented now. So Br, around Br, 1 Br, this is 7th electron, it has 6 more electrons like this. This is Br. Now in this case again second bromine, because how many bromine atoms will combine so that the octet of silicon can be completed? So 1, 2, then the third one can be represented, 1 electron, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and in the same manner 1 more Br can be represented. Okay. Now let us see whether the octet of both the elements is completed. Just relate this bromine 7 plus 1, 8. This bromine 7 plus 1, 8. this bromine 7 plus 1 8, and this bromine also. So the octet of all the bromine atoms, that is completed. Now what about this silicon? So silicon, you can say one species, one electron is shared from this bromine, second from this, third from this, fourth one from this, and it has 4 electrons of its own. So thereby the octet of silicon is also completed. Okay. Now just combine or form the compound, form the formula of the compound. So what will be formula? So formula comes out to be SiBr4, silicon tetrabromide. SiBr4, silicon tetrabromide will be the formula. Okay. Now if you are to find out oxidation state, so oxidation state will be in SiBr4. What will be the oxidation state of silicon? So silicon will have +4, because silicon is less electronegative, right? Whereas bromine is more electronegative. How many bromine atoms are there to equate this 4? So there will be -1. There are 4 bromine atoms, so -1 into 4 will give you -4 and +4, so that will neutralize the species. So silicon, finally, silicon has shown oxidation state of +4, or bromine has shown oxidation state of -1, and the formula of the compound is SiBr4. Okay. Now we will discuss about the second part, that is aluminium compound. What will be the formula of the compound between aluminium and sulfur? Again, we have to go back to the periodic table, and there are 2 elements, aluminium, if you remember, atomic number 13, and second species is sulfur, atomic number of Z equals to 16. Now you can relate, or you can remember their periods or groups. So aluminium belongs from group 13, whereas sulfur belongs to group 16. Valence shell electrons, will be 3 in aluminium and 6 in sulfur. Now, in order to complete octet, sulfur, which is present to the right side of the periodic table, it will gain 2 electrons. That means sulfur will form S2 negative, and aluminium has to release 3 electrons. That means it will acquire 3 positive charge. Okay, so Al3 positive is formed. For simplicity, we can also write, I think in your previous classes you have studied this, Al3 positive in order to determine the formula, and S2 negative. Now take this cross multiplication like this at the bottom of the individual species. So you'll get Al2, right? This one is here, and S3, simple way. So this will be the formula of the compound formed by combination of aluminium and sulfur. And what will be the oxidation number on individual species? So for aluminium, as we have discussed, it is 3. So for aluminium it will be +3, for sulfur it will be -2. So these are the oxidation states of these 2 elements in this molecule or compound. Okay. So the solutions are given. Silicon is group 14 element with valence of 4. Bromine belongs to group halogen family or group 17, and it has valence of 1. Hence the formula of the compound will be SiBr4. In the same manner, for the second one, aluminium belongs to group 13 valence of 3. Sulfur belongs to group 16 and has a valence of 2. Now not 6 because it gains 2 electrons to complete its octet. Hence the formula of the species will be Al2S3. Now some periodic trends observed in the valence of elements, that is hydrides and oxides. As per this table we will discuss, as we have already solved the previous question. Based on that we can relate that how hydrides and oxides of various elements they are formed in belonging from the particular group. So groups are given 1, 2 and then all the up to 17 groups are given. 1, 2, 13, 14, 15, 16 and 17 groups are given. Now formula of hydride. For group 1, as you know, what do you mean by hydrides? Hydrides means binary compounds with hydrogen. Any element which combines with hydrogen to form binary compound are called hydrides. In the same manner, what are oxides? Binary compounds of oxygen with any other element are called oxides, right? So hydrides. So for group 1, lithium, sodium and potassium. These 3 hydrides are there. So lithium will have valence 1. Hydrogen or +1, right? Oxidation number now. Valency is not represented by positive and negative, or valence is not represented, whereas oxidation state is represented by +1 and -1. That means lithium will release 1 electron and so this hydrogen will acquire 1 electron. The valence of lithium is 1, hydrogen is 1. Okay, I think you are clear about this. We do not assign signs, okay, negative and positive for valence. Sodium, oxidation state +1, hydrogen -1. Valence of sodium is 1 and that of hydrogen is also 1. In the same manner for potassium hydride. Now calcium hydride. So calcium belongs from second group. So second group, that means calcium will show oxidation number of +2 or oxidation state of +2, whereas hydrogen will show -1. Okay. In the same manner for boron. Now boron hydride is there, diborane, they exist in the form of binary species. Diborane. So boron will have +3 and hydrogen will have -1 oxidation state, or valence of 3 and hydrogen will show 1. In the same manner for aluminium, oxidation state is +3 and valence will be 3, and for hydrogen oxidation state is -1 and valence will be 1. Okay. Then for group 14, carbon, 4 + 4 oxidation, or carbon can be, sometimes we relate it as more electronegative than hydrogen, so it can show -4, then it will show +1 oxidation state. So generally we say that valence is 4 and that of hydrogen is 1, right? So in the same manner for silicon, valence is 4 and for hydrogen it's 1, so on. So they belong from the same group, so their valence doesn't change, or valency doesn't change. Now for nitrogen or ammonia, this is ammonia. So nitrogen will show -3 oxidation state and +1 for hydrogen. This is about oxidation state. Valence will be 3 and 1, right? So that means valence increases maximum, it goes increasing maximum up to middle, and then it goes on decreasing. Okay. For phosphorus, phosphine, again the same, that is 3 and 1. So I think it's clear to you now. Then for group 16 elements, group 16 oxygen is there. Now oxygen will have -2, hydrogen will have +1, because now oxygen is more electronegative, as in this case also. Then for H2S the same trend is there, H2SC and H2T. Then for group 17 it will be +1 for hydrogen oxidation state or oxidation number, and -1 for fluorine. Okay, and valence will be 1 and 1 for both the species, likewise the same. So this was about hydrides. Now if we focus on oxides, So oxides, as you can see, in most of the cases, oxygen 6 electrons in valence shell, so it will gain 2 electrons, thereby -2 will be the oxidation number and it will show +1. Okay, so just like in hydrides, alkali metals are showing +1 oxidation state, so as in oxides they will show +1 oxidation state. In all the cases it will be same. Okay, then for group second, magnesium will be showing +2 oxidation state and oxygen will show -2 oxidation state, so on for the others. Then B2O3, +3 for boron and -2 for oxygen, right? Same trend will be there. In carbon dioxide, it will be +4 for carbon and -2 for oxygen, so on for the rest members. Then, now this is interesting, group 15, oxides of group 15. So there are two oxidation states which are shown, or two types of valence are shown by group 15 elements, just N2O3. So in N2O3, I'm going to write it here, N2O3. In N2O3, nitrogen will have +3 oxidation state because oxygen is more electronegative, and whereas this will show oxygen will show -2 oxidation state. So nitrogen valence will be 3 and for oxygen it will be 2. So they are combining like this. But if you see the another compound, that is N2O5. So for N2O5, this nitrogen will show +5 oxidation state, -2 for oxygen. So the valence shown by nitrogen will be 5 and that of oxygen will be 2. Okay, so two types of valence can be shown by these species. Same thing happens for the rest oxides of group 15. Now for group 16, generally they show one valence, that is +6, and oxygen will have -2. In every case, if you note it, so the octet has to be completed for both the species, or how many electrons the species has given for the chemical combination, whether it has gained electron or it has lost electron. So we relate that. Okay, the same basic is same for this also, for this also. Now in chlorine oxide, so again oxygen is more electronegative, so it will always show -2, but in case of chlorine it comes out to be +7 oxidation state or oxidation number. That means the valence of chlorine will be 7 and that of oxygen will be 2. So now I hope it is clear to you that oxidation states and valence, they can be related for every species in the compound. Thank you.